So we're going to talk about a practice that is going to help you in the future to reduce the likelihood that procrastination will happen. And I also want to give you something that is literally about the now, about starting right now. But before we do that, I want to set it up with a little bit of a metaphor. So there's an author in the happiness field, which I have taught classes on happiness via Wellness Ed and so forth. That author's name is Jonathan Haidt. Here's one of his books. And what's cool is that if you look at this picture, which is kind of hard to see, you'll see that there is a human rider on top of an elephant. And this is the metaphor that Jonathan Haidt and others have used to talk about human behavior and why behavior change, behavior modification, behavior maintenance is so hard. Because there's not just one part of you that's deciding to do something or not do something. There's two parts of you at least. Because I don't think anybody should actually ride elephants ever, we're going to change it to rider and the horse. And we're not going to consider questions of whether we should ride a horse or not at this point, but we do ride horses. And so let's do the rider and the horse. It also fits in, by the way, with the whole horse whisperer idea too, because horses reflect back to us what's happening within us. And if I'm approaching the horse and want to have it lift its foot or something like that, or whatever it is I'm trying to get the horse to do, or walk around the corral, I have to have a connection with that horse. It has to feel that I'm comfortable. I have to have horse intelligence. I have to be a horse whisperer. This is going to be the metaphor for emotional intelligence. Are you able to be an inner horse whisperer for yourself? So back to procrastination. Why does procrastination happen? It happens because you're the writer and you want to write that research paper. But you're not the only person in the situation. There's a horse in the situation. And the horse has decided it's going to sit on the ground and disobey you and rebel and do nothing. Now, if you've ever been around an animal as large as a horse, there's not much you can do if a horse doesn't want to move. And you may feel like that when you're procrastinating. You're on YouTube, it's 2 a.m, you've already been on there for an hour, and you're like, why can't I get myself off of this? The horse has rebelled. And you, using willpower, and by the way, Kelly McGonigal, Stanford affiliated professor, talks about how willpower is a limited resource. So it's limited anyway, and it's not going to work on the horse. The horse has stronger will than you. It's an older school animal, and its will is powerful. So what can we do? Often when the horse rebels, it's because the horse has not gotten its needs met. It hasn't got enough hay, enough grooming, enough water, enough exercise in the corral or in open space. So believe it or not, one of the first steps we have to think about is, what have you been depriving your inner horse of? And thus the horse is rebelling when you try to get your academic work done. So I want you to think about that right now. Take a deep breath and ask a question. What does my inner horse need from me that I've been depriving it of? Just come up with 1, 2, or 3 things. 1 is fine, but if there's more, some examples: obvious, rest including sleep, rest including not working, fun, play, entertainment, joy, laughter, playing like a child, playing tag, playing kickball, okay? And then connection to oneself, connection to friends, family, lovers, or even emotional processing. Maybe you've gone through a breakup in the last year and you really are in grief about that, and you need to process that and you need to connect to that, but you haven't given yourself the time and space to do that. So right now, take out a piece of paper, or just, it's a very short list. We're talking about 1, 2, or 3 things. What does your inner horse need that you've been depriving it of? Take note of that thing, whether it's something as simple as get to bed earlier and sleep, or deal with the breakup, what have you. And I want you to now promise yourself that in the next week, day, week, month, you're going to put time aside to give that thing to your inner horse. And I want you to listen and hear what the horse has to say about that. Horses understand this. If I say, I'm going to give you an apple, a dog or a horse knows what you're talking about. You want to go for a walk? A dog knows what you're talking about. Dogs understand the word walk. And so even just mentioning it and saying, yes, dear, we're going to get you that hay, the grooming that you need, you may hear an inner response. So that's the future piece. To go inward, ask what's needed, and then promise to give that thing to your inner horse in the future. Now let's talk about the present. I'll give you a scenario I hear a lot about with students. So the student had 4 hours on Sunday afternoon to write their paper. But it's already, 2 o'clock. They were supposed to start right after lunch. And it's now 3 o'clock, 2 or 3 o'clock. And now they've, quote unquote, wasted 2 hours on YouTube. Because here's what happened. The horse is going to get their YouTube time whether you like it or not. And you can either do YouTube while you're feeling guilty about it, or you can do YouTube intentionally and give it to yourself intentionally for a half hour, an hour, and then get to work, or vice versa. Do your work and then do YouTube. So you've just, back to our scenario, you've wasted 2 hours. And now here's what's going to happen. You're going to beat yourself up for another 2 hours, wasting the total 4 hours. What I want to talk about now is called just start now. Because I want you to project in the future. If at 5 o'clock, between 1 and 5, you wanted to get 4 hours of work done, but you actually got 2 hours of really good work done, how would you feel about that? Most students say, I'd feel pretty good about that. 2 hours of solid work. It's not 4, but realistically, were you really going to do 4? Or were you going to be on Instagram and TikTok and talking to friends? 2 hours of solid work is decent in a 4-hour span. And then this is where you employ the Pomodoro method, obviously, breaking it up into small chunks. Okay. But what we're talking about here is saying, okay, my horse needed to do a little YouTube. Can I forgive myself for that? Can I accept that? Can I just be okay with that? Because here's the thing. If you now beat yourself up for another 2 hours, not only have you wasted that time, but as Kristen Neff says, the author of the book Selfcompassion, harsh criticism is discouraging. You have now done YouTube and felt guilty about it. 2 hours of beating yourself up. Now it's dinner time. You got no work done. And now you're discouraged. And now work after dinner is very unlikely also. As opposed to the alternative to, okay, I was on YouTube. I wasn't intentional and aware that I needed that, so I didn't give it to myself preemptively or proactively, but that's okay. The horse did what it did. I had the YouTube. It satisfied me. I enjoyed it. Now I'm going to get 2 hours of work done before dinner. Okay. But I'm just going to not even beat myself up and not even say things like, oh, I wasted all that time. What a shame. I'm terrible. What's wrong with me? All that negative criticism actually doesn't make you do more work. It actually is very discouraging. It takes away your courage. So I want you to imagine in that moment that you just start then. You say, okay, all right, I didn't start at 1. I started at 3. And okay, so what? I'm not the only person at Stanford who's on a Sunday afternoon procrastinated or did something other than what they were going to do after lunch. This is called self-compassion. This is called understanding that you have other needs, and the horse is going to get their needs met at the end of the day, whether we like it or not. So obviously now the next step would be next weekend to give yourself an hour of YouTube because you know that you need it, you want it. I've been watching a lot of music videos lately and really enjoying Being as old as I am, the live music you can see on YouTube, it's beautiful. It's amazing. It inspires you. It's great. It's also a rabbit hole. So you give yourself a limited amount of that. It inspires you. And now you're like, boy, the horse is satisfied, has had plenty of hay. Time to get to work. Or the opposite, you do your work and then you give yourself the YouTube reward afterwards. So I hope this all makes sense. To review, in order to not procrastinate, get your work done, you need to acknowledge the needs of the horse and the rider and proactively give the horse what it needs throughout the weekend, the evenings, sleep, all the things that we need for self-care, loving self-compassion. Think of a good horse owner, a good horse whisperer. They know how to care for the horse. You are giving good stuff to the animal, and the animal is actually pleased to serve and help you to do what it is you need to do. That's where we want to go when it comes to approaching procrastination. Again, my name is Donovan with Wellbeing Coaching. We're here at the beautiful Kingscote Gardens. Book an appointment with us, and we'll dive deeper into your challenges around not only procrastination, but self-compassion. Thank you.